Welcome, everybody. My name is Kent. I'm joined today with Grandma. Hello, Grandma.
Hello, Kent.
We're going to talk about how America affects our everyday life today.
Yes, this we are going to talk about today. Yes.
So, what do you
Yeah.
think affects American? So, how do you think this affects us?
In our daily life,
Yes.
almost everything, I would say,
Mm.
from um, if you go to the pharmacy, for example, to pick up some medication, whether it's whether you have a disease or whether you uh, have a headache and want to pick up some pills to take away your headache,
Mm.
all of that comes from America, from the pharmaceutical industry there. So that's one way. Um,
If I
lot of
say to you
food.
that I think you have to talk about the finances first.
Yes,
Mm.
do that.
I
But
would
this
say that
you have to do.
Yeah, I think so when people are listening to this, I think it's the the biggest thing is that America has the reserve economy of the world, the dollar, and I think the issuer of the dollar is the Federal Reserve. Uh, it's good to know for the people that they know that it is privately owned by the biggest banks in the world. And they can check this for themselves. But if also, the American dollar is privatized,
Yes.
and that sounds like a crazy idea. And if you know that the American dollar is privatized, you can think, okay, how will this affect my everyday life? And when you see that the dollar today is a fiat currency, it is not based on something real, meaning gold or something
No,
something solid. It is
it's
only
only paper. It's only paper. Yes.
yes, it's based on what we believe what it is.
Yeah.
When that is said, it is important to know that every other currency is also the same. So this is the reason that the dollar is called the cleanest dirty shirt.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm.
Mm.
It is important for the people to know that every time we had the fiat currency, we always go back to sound money. Meaning that every time fiat currency, like we have every currency today is, we have at one stage gone back uh, to pretty much the gold standard, pretty much. If you notice, for example, if you went to the ice cream store when you were little or I was little, you noticed you can buy, let's say, an ice cream for 10 cents. But today you have to pay maybe a dollar 50, $2, $3 for it. And you can say, how is this?
Yes. How
It,
is this? Is this because they was printing a lot of money,
it
printing
is
more paper?
it is the money supply going up. It means that the dollar you have in your account for each and every year is buying less the next year. We have made an
So
episode about real money.
yeah.
Suggest people look at this. But if
So
you know,
When Biden is printing money, mm, causing inflation, the same inflation will be here.
yes.
Yes.
So if
So
you know,
everything economic things then depends on America.
yeah. So when the America controls the economy in basic, I think it's just a few countries that don't have a bank pretty much controlled by it. It's like Iran and North Korea, maybe Venezuela, maybe I think so. And I suggest people look up this for themselves because actually I am just an amateur.
Yeah.
So it's important for people to know this, and because we are not advisors, say like this. It's just we're trying to find our common sense about this. But if we know that, let's say, if we are right now, and we know that the Americans they control the economy, and I can ask you then, how does the Americans control the economy? With what? What kind of things do they use? I would say at least a few different. You mentioned big pharma. I would also mention a few other things, but I can take them after. How do you think big
Mm.
pharma controls some of the life of us, Grandma?
Yes, our everyday life and um, the medication we need um, and stuff. It's all dependent on America because every medication they have in the pharmacy, they are developed and made in America. So, and a lot of people, their lives depend on medication. If they have diabetes, if they have high blood pressure, and stuff like this, their lives depend on it.
Hmm.
And every citizen in Norway, for example, we are going to the pharmacy from time to time, all of us,
Hmm.
to buy some medication.
Yeah, and it's important to know that if they, so it's pretty much the Americans that develop the so-called medicine, and they outsource it to, for example, India or China or something like this, to make
Yeah,
it
to make it
produce,
cheaper, yes.
yeah, to make it cheaper.
Yes.
Because I
But
remember that,
we have to pay much.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have to,
As I
yeah.
remember, we had a factory in Norway that produced like the headache
Yes.
pills and like this, but it was closed down. Yes.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. We used to produce our own insulin also.
mm,
And they outsourced also this to China.
mm,
It's an American product made in China to make it cheaper, not for us, not for the consumers, no.
yeah.
Make it cheaper for the producers to to raise their profit.
Mm,
So that's one way our everyday life is totally dependent on America. First, with the money system, when prices, um, if it's a crisis in the finance market in America, it will be here also.
mm.
And we see the prices go up and up, and that's because of the money system in America. And people are a lot, hundreds of thousands of people in Norway are totally dependent on some kind of medication.
Mm.
And that's also from America.
If I say to you the war industry, what do you think of then in America?
Yeah, yeah. That also changed Norway quite a lot. For example, when Obama was bombing Libya, to take one example,
Mm,
that was the start of the migration crisis. And now Norway and all of Norway, Sweden, all of Europe have millions of people uh, who migrated here,
Mm.
creating big problems with the economy. And
How do you think
yes,
it affects that? We produce weapons in Norway. Among others, we have this Kongsberg Gruppen that produced the NASAMS and other things. So our industry is considerable, actually. The Americans are in a league of their own. Of course, the Russians and the Chinese and everybody produce some
yes,
things.
yeah,
Uh, how do you think war affects us? I would say it, let's say, for example, the US goes to war someplace. It has happened before. I can imagine people would know this. What do you think would happen usually to the companies that produce the weapons and the planes and the bombs and everything like this? I would say the stock price would normally go up.
yes.
Mm.
And the company leaders which produce weapons, they get big fat bonuses.
Mhm. And when they go
Yeah,
to war, let's say, for example, Iraq, for example, you would have private companies that come and do certain services for them,
yes,
and they would make some bills. And it's a big industry for the US to go to war.
yeah. And also, it's a big industry for Norway. War is a big industry for Norway. So with oil and gas and weapons.
Mm.
So the Norwegian state get very, very rich
Mm.
from this when America is launching war or whatever. But we never see
Mm.
the people don't get rich.
Yeah,
We only get higher bills, energy bills and stuff. But
it's
yeah,
interesting to see this in Europe today because we are among the biggest contributors. I think maybe the biggest one in gas in Europe now.
yes,
But the Europeans, they had cheap gas before
mm,
Ukraine Russia thing. Everybody
yeah,
got the cheap gas from Russia with the Nord Stream 1 and 2. And
mm,
suddenly somebody bombed this Nord Stream 1 and 2 because of conflict. And
yeah,
somebody got to send a lot of gas. We, for example, made a deal with Poland that affected the day after, and
yeah.
the Poles got gas from us. We also sent,
That's
of
it.
course, gas other places. But imagine this: Europe now import gas from America.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's another issue who is uh, contributing to our daily life
Mm.
because it was obvious that it was America who blew up that pipeline in cooperation with Norway.
Yes.
Of course it was. Yeah. They tried to say it was not, but of course it was.
Mm.
And so, and Norway got very, very rich from the war between Ukraine and Russia also.
Mm.
But again,
Mm.
yeah.
It's
And
interesting to
also,
see.
Norway produced intelligence about Russia.
Yeah,
Um,
but before we
for
leave this, I think it's important to say that every country is dependent on cheap energy to
yeah,
have their companies produce something, because every country needs to produce something real to have a real economy. And this is the thing we see now in Europe. We see a lot of companies that don't have the cheap energy, the gas, and they move out of Europe. And where do they move to? Many move to America.
Yeah. Yes, they do that now.
Mm.
But to go to another topic, which we really could feel in our everyday life, um, America affecting us, and that was COVID,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
COVID was a man-made virus. Uh, it behaved like every other virus, mutating and like it does in nature. But it was man-made in a bioweapon lab, American bioweapon program, and the task force was set there in America. And from there, they decide for the rest of the world. So you and me, we ended up locked up in our living room, and yeah, was forced
But without face masks, at least.
without face masks. Yes, we were not using that. Not
Mm.
some of us didn't. Me, I didn't. I didn't use that to go to the shop or anything like this.
Mm.
But this they was forcing us to do, and here comes this these injections, which they called vaccines, which was not vaccines, of course, but and also them they were made there in America,
Mm.
and yeah,
I would
those of us
say
who didn't get vaccinated are
grandma, it's just follow the money.
yes, yes,
Mm.
yes, of course they made a lot of money from this,
Mm.
and moving around the view upwards again, but our everyday life is so dependent on what is happening in America. And that's the point with all this. And also, what is, I would call it devastating, is that our politicians, they are in bed with all these gangsters, I will call them,
Mm.
with
Yeah, we have talked
Biden,
about it.
Obama, Clinton, and
Yeah, we have talked about this before because
yeah,
every time a former president or something like this from America comes to Norway, they come with a fancy plane and they leave with a lot of money for their organization.
yeah,
Mm.
for their NGOs,
Yeah.
non-profit NGOs. That's
Yeah, and we
funny.
also talked about
Yeah,
this before that there's
yeah,
from a country with a population of 5.5 million inhabitants.
yes.
It's strange to see that we have so many important positions, or had at least many important positions. If you compare the world of how many people there are, we should be,
Mm.
yeah.
That's because of the oil money, of course.
Mm.
It's like it's like you know, the flies they come to the cow shit. The honeypot, the Norwegian honeypot is like creates the same.
Yeah, and
Yes,
again, we have over the national budget, we have 2% now of going to uh, social causes, is it called this? Uh, so we call it U-hjelp, but it's
yeah,
NGOs, and we try to do
yeah,
good things with it. But yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot of money.
yeah. It's a lot of money.
Mm.
It is. Yes.
How do you think America affects us with TV and movies, Grandma? Does Hollywood affect this in any way?
Yes. Very much so.
Mm.
the movie industry forming how we think and view life and everything like this. So, and one interesting thing about this, maybe it's a sidetrack, but um, I very rarely watch movies. But just a few weeks ago, I was watching this Matrix 2.
Mm.
And yeah, just now, if you see the plot in Matrix 2, it's a um, blue copy of what was happening when they was bombing these nuclear sites in Iran.
Mm.
So you should watch this movie. Then you will see what happened there in Iran. So yeah,
Yeah.
quite amazing.
Yeah.
But
And maybe if you watch The Matrix, you can also watch The Simpsons.
yeah, The Simpsons
They have
also. Yeah.
a yeah
Mm,
very way to show the future.
yeah. We have a saying
Maybe
here in
somebody
Norway.
knows something.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm.
We have a saying here in Norway. Everything bad and everything good comes from America. It's a saying. Yeah. So yeah.
But we look at the TV, we get affected. What about something that's pretty new, I would say, is social media and the rise of the iPhone and everything like this. What do you think about this? How does this affect us?
Yeah. Again, big tech is controlled from America. And at the moment, it's a good thing because they are putting more and more censorship here, at least here in Europe. But in America now, with the new administration and Elon Musk buying X, it's quite the opposite. And those people who want to control us here in Europe, they are a little bit, how to say, powerless with this. They can shut down the internet, of course, but
Yeah, I think it's
um,
better than it used to be, but we also notice that we are actually notified that our videos are not
yeah,
complying
yeah,
with
yeah.
standards and being shadow
Yes.
banned and everything like this. I think
Mhm.
if the audience look at our view counts, you would see what kind of videos are banned.
Yeah.
Mm. And that's
Uh,
just a close example. So
yeah.
thank you for
Yes.
watching, everybody. So yeah.
Yeah. It's the videos who speak the most truth
Mm.
who is shadow banned.
Yeah,
Mm.
maybe.
Mhm. Yeah. And what we are doing here is we are doing our small part, trying to tell the truth.
Mm.
And yeah, as ordinary people,
Mm.
we are not in any kind of power or something, but our weapon is the truth.
Mm.
And there is no more powerful weapon than this.
Mm.
Not even nuclear bombs. It's more powerful than truth. So,
Keeping your sanity and your health and being able to maybe put some real money aside.
mm,
Real money, I mean silver and gold, of course.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it.
If you seek the truth, and if you dare to see the truth and speak the truth, that will contribute to very much to your mental health.
How do you think America has affected our way of life, considering that before, many years ago, we used to have homes with We in Norway call it spiskamers. Also,
Mm.
in English, I think it's we had to have a small room with food and everything like this, so we were a little prepared. So we didn't have to go to the store every day. Do you think America has affected our life, that living in the moment and
Yes, I think so.
uh,
More and more people they are eating out or takeaway.
mm,
It has become a big industry in Norway also.
mm,
People just ordering food to be sent to them door
mm.
instead of having food home and make food.
Yeah, because it's
This also
interesting. Yeah,
comes
because
from
it's
America.
interesting to see this. As I heard many Americans say that their food contains such and such, and it's better here in Europe. I have been a few times, and I looked at the uh, the sheet where the ingredients was, and compared it to here, and it was a lot more things containing in the products.
Yes,
So
it's true. Yes,
I would say that real food is important, Grandma. What do you think about this?
yes, it's very important. And also in Norwegian stores, we have a lot of this American food, like cereals. We have a lot of American brands, biscuits. Mm, yeah, and we have McDonald's in McDonald's and Burger King in every street corner, and it's
Yeah, but it's important to
I
say that
don't eat any of that, but
uh,
a lot of people do, and it's the same
have done
poison
at
as
least.
they.
Yeah.
Huh?
Guilty.
Yes, you are guilty.
Yeah, I
Yes,
have been at least.
yeah,
Getting better when knowing the
yeah,
truth. It's important to be honest with yourself, I think.
yeah,
But don't want to
mm,
throw a large rock in a glass house here. So,
yeah, yeah, yes,
yeah.
mm,
But one day at a time, I would say. One day at
yeah,
a time.
mm,
I think it's a journey, Grandma, to we are on now. And if you are awakening a little, you see that our money is not what we have been told. Our food is not what we have been told. The
no,
society around us is not in our phone, not like this.
no,
We
no.
can
The
use.
medicine is not what we have been told.
Mm,
Um, information is not what we have been told.
mm,
Everything is just how to say? Everything is
mm,
just a lie. What we see in our daily life and in the media and stuff.
mm,
But yeah, so to seek the truth and speak the truth, no matter how uncomfortable,
mm.
that's the medicine. It's the medicine. Really,
Yeah,
it is. And
yeah, but I think that the real truth can be a big subject, Grandma.
yeah,
Maybe
we
this
can.
is a subject for next time.
Yes, we have been speaking about truth before, but
Mm,
it can never be spoken about too much
yeah.
because it
The last episode was cancelled.
was cancelled. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Pretty much not
So
so many views. So hopefully maybe
yeah,
next time we can add some new points at least.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can try to speak about it in a way we don't get cancelled. So maybe you have to check in on that last video to see, oh, what did we say who
Uh,
was so forbidden?
I'm not giving up, Grandma. I'm not selling out.
No,
So
no.
until next time, thank you for today.
Thank you. See
See
you
you guys
next time.
later. Thank you for listening. And know that we are being cancelled. So please share and subscribe and like and whatever the other YouTubers say. Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.